No Valentine's Day would be complete without a heart-shaped box of candy to give to your loved one. I'm going to show you very quickly how to make one in Photoshop Elements 5. I'm starting with a plain document, 500 by 500 transparent background, and I'm going into my Artwork and Effects palette to the Shapes libraries, and I'm going to grab this heart card and drag it on out. Needs to be transformed, so I'm pressing Ctrl T to bring up the transform function. Let's make it a bit bigger for starters. Now I'm right-click inside and choose Perspective. We'll make it look like it's laying on its side a little bit. There, we'll give it maybe a little bit of a rotate. And let's distort just a little bit. And up. That looks good enough for now. Back into my layers palette, you can see my shape layer is right there with my heart. Now I need to duplicate this a few times and move it down 1 pixel each time. To do that, I'm holding Alt on my keyboard and using the arrow keys and just nudging down 1 time. I'm going to move this down to the bottom and change the color a little bit. Just make it a bit darker. A little bit more of this darker burgundy color. Now that the color's changed, I'm going to make a few more copies of it by holding Alt and just pushing the arrow down key about 3 or 4 more times. That's about right. Now I'm going to merge all of these together by clicking the top one, holding Shift, and clicking the bottom layer and pressing Ctrl E. Now everything is in one shape. Now I need to make a duplicate of this. So I'm dragging this into my duplicate layer. I'm going to make a selection around it by clicking on the thumbnail and making it a little bit darker again, maybe almost closer to the black, very dark burgundy. And now with that as my foreground color, Alt backspace will fill that with the burgundy color. Now I can deselect. You can see it's the darker burgundy. I'm going to transform this layer again, Ctrl T, and hold Alt and drag one of the corner handles just to pull it in just a little bit. Holding Alt lets it resize from the center instead of resizing from one of the corners. That looks pretty good. Pull it down a little bit here, and I'll accept that. Now I'm using my Alt arrow key to make about 15 or 20 copies of this layer. You can see it inching its way down. This is going to be the body of the box. That looks about right there. Now with the top one selected, scroll all the way down my layers palette to the bottom one, hold Shift and select it also, and Ctrl E, or I can click the More button, and you can't see it because it's off the screen, but I'm choosing Merge Layers. Now all of these are in a single layer. To make the bottom lid, I'm going to duplicate this top layer again and just move it to the bottom of the stack. It needs to be moved down also, so with my Move tool selected, I'm just going to drag it down and maybe just a little bit to the right. This needs a background, so create a new layer, put it on the bottom. I'm going to use maybe just a simple gradient. This is one of the Valentine gradients I've created previously. We'll just go with maybe a radial gradient, normal mode. Drag it out, and there is a heart-shaped box. We can dress this up a little bit. I'm choosing the middle layer of this heart-shaped box sandwich, and I'm going to go into my Dodge and Burn tools. Dodge will make things a little bit lighter. So let's just touch right here where the sun might glint, or maybe a lamp might glint on that edge. And then we'll go into the Burn tool and burn some shadows in, maybe around this little corner thing here. Take that a little smaller, a little bit more up here. On my top layer, I'm still using the Burn tool. I'm just going to draw a few streaks just to darken it up a little bit. And then back into my dodge to lighten a few places. Down here on this bottom layer as well, we can dodge and burn a few special places, maybe around here. And maybe with the dodge tool, we'll lighten a bit up here. And there's your heart-shaped box.